The files you would initially get from a picture editor to do post-production sound would be the reference movie. So this is a QuickTime or some other format that has the picture and the mix that was in Premiere or Avid, as well as a burned-in time code on the video. The other file you would get is an OMF or AAF file. OMF is an older format, AAF is a newer format. What this is this translates the audio clips in the timeline of Premiere or Avid into a format that Pro Tools can read. So you can import this into Pro Tools and the audio clips will come up on the timeline the same way they were arranged in Premiere. By importing both of these into Pro Tools, you'll get the edit as it was exported from Premiere or Avid. You can directly open up an OMF in Pro Tools. If you direct Pro Tools to that file, it'll bring up a Create New Session dialog. And it'll bring up the Import Session dialog where you'll import all the tracks from the OMF. So there you have the OMF imported. By doing this, Pro Tools creates a session based on the OMF. However, instead I'm going to import the OMF into a dialog template that I have. A Pro Tools template is a Pro Tools session that has a .ptxt at the end as opposed to just .ptx, the T at the very end indicating that it's a template. So when I open this up, I get a dialog to create a new session. I'm going to place this with my project. And I'm going to call this Starter DX. And I'm just going to choose Wave, 24-bit interleave, 48 kilohertz sample rate, and stereo mix. So what a template is a Pro Tools session that you've gone ahead and set up for yourself by creating a bunch of tracks. You can actually add inserts. It's really something that you're going to use repetitively. So every time you have to do a dialogue edit, you can start with this. So it just makes it easier so you don't have to create a bunch of tracks and name them. This template has 12 dialogue tracks, 4 production effects tracks, 4 room tone tracks. So I opened up the template and it created a new Pro Tools session. So now I can go ahead and import the OMF into this template. To do that, I'm going to choose Import Session Data. Navigate to the OMF, click Open. For audio media options, we're going to choose Copy from Source Media. So it'll create new files in an audio files folder in the Pro Tools Session folder. All the tracks are going to go to a new track. You can leave this as the default. And it imports the OMF tracks. It usually takes a minute or two for it to reconnect to the files. One thing I didn't mention is when you go to do the import session data, I selected the very last room tone track. What that means is it places all of the files that it's importing below that track. Had I had this dialog 1 selected, it would have placed it in between the dialog 1 and dialog 2 tracks, and then I would have had to move them. So it's just a lot easier to just select your very bottom track and then do the import.